webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, so thank you to each of you. I hope you can see my screen. I'm not sure of that yet, so I will.
See it.
Yes,
Think that the others.
Carmen, do you see my screen?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So thank you to each of you to participate to this web cafe, and this web cafe, as you know, of course, is dedicated to giving you more detail on the platform, which will be open next Monday, and the way to include into your ICT proposal, and in particular ICT 48, which is started and which will be closed in 1 month and a half, a little bit more, to give you more information so that you can do whatever you wish in your proposal with enough information. So, first of all, a strong disclaimer. The ideas I'm expressing here are only the ideas which we have into the coordination team about the various topic, and of course your main reference about ICT call is the call text and nothing else. So anything which could be in contradiction with the call text would not be meaningful, and of course we are only addressing, I am only speaking from a legal standpoint. Okay, so first of all, as shown to some of you in Helsinki and for the others, there is a lot of relevant calls which are mentioning either ICT 26 2018, the call for the on-demand platform, or directly mentioning AI4EU. In ICT 48, if you look at the call text, there is a lot of topics which are mentioned: reinforcing Europe's asset in AI, foster cooperation, contribute to the development of ethical and trustworthy AI, and building on existing effort on the AI on-demand platform. All this is directly coming from the call text. And of course, as I have shown before last week, I have taken some words from the call text to put them in exergue so that we are clear on it. So the request in ICT 48, and of course even more in ICT 49, is to use the AI on-demand platform, AI4EU, as the backbone for both the network of excellence in terms of providing resources, whatever they are, tools, algorithms, data, support service, etc., and linking with the community at large, with the widest AI community possible, or community of people interested in one way or other with AI in Europe. Okay. Strengthening the AI on-demand platform, I didn't highlight it, but really, of course, we must have a very strong platform, and it must become more and stronger and stronger. And I will show you later on, we are starting in a very humble way, if I may say so, with the few most important services we felt we should provide initially, what we call the collaborative or community platform, community part of the platform, but we should enrich its capacity with a lot of resources. All there are mentioned here, and other which are not mentioned here necessarily. So this is the CSA, and of course the CSA, as you know, will be a CSA which will not only take care of bringing together all the network of excellence and the AI4U platform, but also helps the various network of excellence to work together. So strengthening the AI on-demand platform is also mentioned into the CSA. I will not speak about the other call. I want to concentrate on ICT 48. But first of all, I want to present you what is today the AI4EU platform, the European on-demand platform, and answer any question you may have before, before talking a little bit more on the call text, eventually, if you have questions. As it is our so just in case, Carmen, do not hesitate to interrupt me if you see question which I have to answer.
Patrick, you hear me, Patrick?
Yes.
Yes, I just want to tell the audience and all the participants that they can use the control panel. There is a pane for questions. They can say and write down the questions during the presentations. Now we see them, so feel free to ask them, or even say you raise a hand. But I hope everybody sees the question pane in the control panel, so please use it. Okay.
Thank you. Just the last thing, I guess you are still seeing my screen in full screen. With just the slide on it.
Now
yes?
It's not in full screen.
It is not in full screen. So what should I do to put it back in full screen?
Yes.
Like that.
Perfect.
Maybe. Okay, fine. So what are the main functions we want to deliver with the AI4EU platform? This is summarized here: delivering information, facilitating collaboration, providing resources, all types of resources, allowing people to try these resources, some of them at least, and to experiment AI, and facilitating interconnection with different external platforms. This is a slide you have seen last week, so I didn't modify it, but maybe I will show you this one now, which is a description where I want to start about the various part of the platform as seen from the menu, very, very quickly. My dashboard, as you can understand, is a summary of all the information which is related to you and which you will be able to get. It is not implemented yet. It will be after some work, some time of existence from the platform based on the feedback we'll have from you. So most of it, I will show you later this part, the collaboration part, which is the one we are opening end of this month, next Monday, with some information in the various other parts like the ecosystem. This is only at the moment static information, but we will increase it weeks after weeks. And with your help and with news, the news part, of course, will be, and I am sorry, this is not correctly positioned. It should be there. The news part is the part about AI4EU use specifically and community news in general, the news which you will be able to provide. And wish to publish on the AI4EU platform on what you are doing in your work in AI and which you think is interesting for the others. The events, there will be two kinds of events: the AI4EU event, and I see I have a little bug on this slide. The AI4EU events, AI4EU events are physical events, and the next one is in Athens in November, and the web cafe, such as the one you will have today, and which will increase over time starting more or less next week. This one is the first one, but next month, excuse me. And the web cafe, there will be one every 15 days, I guess, and after that, one every weeks, depending of the matter we want to push or you want to push, because you will be also participant of the web cafe. The repository, it will be the AI assets repository will be provided somewhere in end of November or a little bit after. And the experimental part, the sandbox and the composition of assets using the Akumos platform will be provided with the full complete version of the platform end of January. After that, we will also have the ethical observatory, which will be under this entry, everything related to business, venture capital, funding, and everything related to learning. So this is very quickly summarized what we will provide within this platform, and we will have also a sophisticated search system which will allow to search among all these different kind of elements, the people platform, the people, the discussion, the group, the assets, the internet documents, etc., etc. I will not show you anything about the search engine today, but you can understand that it will be based on knowledge graph-based search, so that you can refine more and more the kind of search you may have about any kind of element in the platform. So this is the first page you will have to fill in. In this presentation, because the pages are vertical, of course, the beginning of the page is here and the end of the page is here usually. This, my profile page, is my personal profile page, and the first thing you are asked when you register into the platform, there is an unregistered part, which is not very interesting, and we ask you to register if you want really to use the platform. The first thing you have to do when registering is going into your profile here and filling it with information which is required, and it is a kind of LinkedIn very clearly, which allow people to become member of the AI4EU community and share information with the other member of the AI4EU platform. Okay, so you have, as usual, your organization. The AI4EU platform is clearly targeting AI4EU professional. Nothing forbid a citizen to register in it, but clearly it is targeted toward researchers, SMEs, entrepreneurs, funding people. So it's targeting professional, and therefore we should have a valid organization name, country, job, area of interest, etc. And then we, as in other kind of social network, you can invite people into your network, and your network will then be the group of preferred people you want to work with or you want to address within a very big one. You can have invitation from people or to people, and you can have suggested contact. So the first part of this thing is really to have a profile and to start with this profile to interact with others. You may, in this version, currently list all members of the platform, contrary to some other social network, and connect to anyone you wish by clicking on the right icons and expecting a yes answer from him. Okay. Of course, at the moment, the platform is not is filled with temporary with initial information from initial members. There will be much more, I hope, when opening it, at least all the consortium members will be there with their picture. So once you have your profile created, you can access two things, the discussion section and the group section. And we wish to rely a lot on these two features to ensure collaboration between members of the platform and within the ecosystem. And within your call, when addressing the topic about collaborating more within the European AI community, you should clearly use this mechanism and help us to enhance this mechanism. So initially, you can say that if there is topics you want to discuss, like in any forum, you start a discussion or you participate to a discussion. And there is nothing very special about a discussion. It's really simply a way to start a topic, whatever it is. This is the screen you get when clicking on this discussion, this general discussion. The discussions are sorted around various keywords, which may be change over time, platform technical issues, scientific issues, ethical issues, etc. Of course, when you are clicking on the topic of a discussion, you open it, and you can see that there is some kind of hierarchy. You can post some text about the discussion, you can react to a post, or you can post another reaction or another text about the topic of the discussion. Okay, nothing very different from any other forum. Group, you either by transforming the discussion to a group or by creating directly a group. The purpose of a group is to have a structured way of working together. Initially, you will not see a lot of services within groups, but more and more they will be added. The first one which will be added within a group will be events next month, being able to create events, to invite people to events within the group, and to have calendars and to have this kind of services. And then you will be later on able to bring AI repository assets into the group, to add documents, to add a lot of things. So what is important is to see that there is a group privacy notion. You can create a public group, a private group, or a confidential group. The public group is a group where you can register simply by clicking on it. The private group is a group which is created by a group owner, and you have to ask him to be invited to the group. Both the public and the private group may be searched by the search engine and reference in search results. The confidential group is not visible, and it is for working with other members of the community in a more confidential way. You cannot see that it exists, except, of course, the administrators of the platform for legal reasons, to make sure that it is a legal group in terms of respecting ethics and legal issues about the contents, etc. But otherwise, it cannot be seen, and the only way for you to participate or know that it exists is to be invited by the group owner, the group creator. When you have created, when you are looking at groups, of course, there is a few groups created here. This is the screen from all groups. And Of course, at the moment, there are only a few test groups or initial groups. When looking at it, what is important is to see that a group has a defined goal and a delay, a duration. And the defined goal is there to make sure that effectively the purpose of the group is to reach a certain goal. It may be any kind of goal, of course. It may be writing a paper together. It may be preparing a web cafe. It may be answering a proposal. It may be doing some commercial discussion with business people or venture capital people, which will be member of the platform. But it should have a goal. Otherwise, there is nothing which would differentiate it from a discussion. And we are really betting on the topic, on the fact that this group will become more and more powerful. Is there any question at that time, Carmen?
Hello, Patrick. Yes, and
Yes.
I will now ask some questions. Yes,
Okay, so maybe you should address.
I read it, yeah?
Yeah, please.
Giovanna Remassa, she asked, can one create an organization and administer it?
So, yet you cannot do that. The only thing you can do is represent an organization by being yourself a member of this organization. We may add it. We know that we will have to add it. We would like to have a few discussions with people interested in doing that to clarify into the platform the way we will deal with organization rather than the way we will deal with individuals. Why is that? Because the first topic of this project is to diminish fragmentation and favor people working together. And people working together is not exactly the same thing that an organization anonymously or more or less anonymously working with people or working with other organizations. So yes, it will be possible, not in this version, probably, but as soon as we have clear ideas about what are the services we provide to organization or organization are asking and how they are different from services provided to individuals belonging to organization, then we will do that.
There was another question.
Yes.
Far can group discussions be closed discussions? The question was asked by Jean-Philippe.
Can you say it again? I'm not sure I got it.
How far can group discussions be closed discussions? Like, can you make closed discussions so not everybody can be part of it?
Yes, this is what I was saying before. If you create a private discussion, then you will do that so that external people can see the discussion, can see the content, but cannot contribute to it. If, for example, at some point we want to do some specific interconnection with the platform, we may have a public discussion with a member of the platform, but we may not wish to involve everyone, so people could see it. If you want to have a closed discussion, as you said, Carmen, then you will create a confidential discussion. This is there. Maybe you cannot read it very easily, but it's a when you create the group, no, not a discussion. Excuse me. You cannot do that for discussion. You can do that for group only. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, because discussion really it's everything you can do in a discussion you can do in a group. But we believe that for the difference is that a discussion, you start it, you don't know with whom. You start by setting up a question and various people answer. Within a group, either invite people in the group or it's a more organized system. So having confidential discussion, if it is being asked, we will add it. Okay. But at the moment, it's only for the group. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No other question yet?
There are other questions. Will the on-demand features be focused, or the on-demand features, the platform on-demand features, be focused on simply provide a catalog of AI modules, or the AI on-demand platform will provide the possibility to run AI solutions?
Yes, so it is in this part here, experiment, and it will provide effectively end of January. I will show you a few slides later on. It will provide the way to execute assets, to execute element of AI, to experiment. And for this, there will be what we call the sandbox, and the possibility also to compose AI elements to make a more sophisticated one from a composition of elementary one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so of course, when you want to join a group, you will click on group detail maybe, and then you will have the join button. This is the way it will work. Let's view effectively two slides on AI assets. At the moment, I will not show you, we will not show you the experiment part, but as you can see here, there will be at some point in the, I don't know if you see very well, it's not very nice, use resources and design studio, and it will give you access through the experiment menu to the design studio. This is for the version, the full version 1 in January, end of January. Before that, we hope to provide the catalog, the way to publish a resource, and the way to evaluate a resource. So this is just a simple page of a would-be catalog. Okay, a small initial design. I want to show you another very initial design because what is important is to understand the process we will have to publish a resource. We will ask for a lot of information. What we want is really to make sure that people at first sight, when looking at a resource, have enough information to say, this interests me, this doesn't interest me, this is verifiable or not. For example, there will be a possibility to run software tests or to validate the performance which will be provided if you provide performance. And in fact, when publishing a resource, the quality of the publication itself will be checked either automatically or by some mediators, but only for verifying that all the information required are there and all the interesting information is there, and there will be a rating for that. It will only be a rating for the publication phase of the resource, and this rating will say this resource is well documented and you should spend some time to look at it. It will not take long. Okay. After that, it doesn't mean that it is a good or an interesting resource. So there will also be a user rating, which will say, I have tried this resource and it's a good one, or it has flaws in it, or whatever. Okay. And when sorting the resources with the search engine, you will be able to see the best resources with the best rating, both for publication and information part and for the experimentation by user. You will be able to see this at a glance, if we may say so that you can easily find and interesting resources. And this is for us very important, not necessarily just for AI expert or AI professional, but for the non-AI professional, ICT people looking for something and not willing to spend too much time on finding the right resource. And of course, what you do not see here, but it will be in some screen, are the comments for people which will have rated or used the resource. Okay. But you will have to deliver a lot of information, including licensing issue, IPR issue. It has to be as transparent as possible. And the European Commission asked us also, we'll see if this is possible or not, to explain in which way an AI resource is compliant with AI value, European value. Okay? So with this is the end of the platform presentation. It will be opened next week and you will be able to start using it. And of course, you will be able, with the discussion and group process, to ask anything you wish about the AI4EU project, deliveries, etc. And so if there is other question on the platform itself, it is the right time to express them, Carmen. Carmen?
I'm here, I'm back. Sorry for this delay. Can I ask one question more because it's about data? May I ask, because is Jose Marie Sonico wondering if the full cycle is covered, in particular data acquisition and subsequent creation stages to build the right data paths and data sets while complying with ethical issues? That's complex. Is there basically access to data?
So there will be access to data sets, and currently we have more in our ID to have what we call reference data sets. But this issue on providing data, so there is two different things to the question. There will be data and there will be data sets. And eventually there will be reference data sets with which you will be able to benchmark various algorithms for the same topic. And the first data set we will put into the platform will be health data set with radiography picture and doctor's analysis about this radiography picture, and we will use it probably to start challenge about helping diagnosis. Okay. Now the full cycle of processing data from the collect to the curation, anonymization, labelization, etc., to make it a resourceful data set. We would have to discuss that but it is not yet into the plans. So just to tell you something, we have this version 1 end of January. Then there will be a second version in January 2021, January 2021, and the last one, which will probably more a maintenance version, an update version, end of 2021. We do not have plan for the January 2021 version yet. And so, of course, we are welcoming any suggestion. And as before, I say that the best place to provide suggestion will be discussions and groups. But this is an important question, and we have a lot of discussion with it. Where should be the data, and up to what extent should we deal with that also? So it may be, of course, a topic for some of the call, some of the current call, answer to the current call.
Thank you.
Any other question on the platform, Carmen?
There is one more.
we have
Basically, are
time.
the experiments free? Will executing experiments be free? I mean, I don't. It's to
I
Miko
understand.
Tondi. Is there any charge, or is it free?
Yes. What we expect is that experiment, I would say, limited experiment with the sandbox, mostly to see if some construction, some execution is working, would be free. Some functional experiment would be free. But of course, working at full size with a kind of the quantity, the amount of resources eventually needed for some experiment, we will have to see how we can deal with that. As you know, within the consortium, we have Barcelona Supercomputing, we have Teradata, we have Nocenter, and we have some other partners also which may provide resources. And we are going into the ecosystem. We are willing to deal with region, and we believe that region will more and more provide computing resources. So this is still something to be addressed because it is very quickly a high cost, and it needs to have a kind of sustainable model for providing resources at a fair cost, but probably not for free if you need a lot of resources in terms of computing resources. Okay? So maybe we can switch now, if there is no more question on the platform, maybe we can switch to the ICT call. So some of you have seen the slide I presented in Helsinki, and it was a bit complicated, so I have simplified them as much as possible. So I remind you that this is only a suggestion, and the suggestion from AI4EU coordination. The question is, how do we work in synergy? How do we use the AI4EU platform as a backbone for research, for innovation, and for business up to a certain point, eventually one day up to a marketplace, but not yet completely. I mean a full marketplace. How do we do that? And of course, as the only way is to make sure that there is the right budget for doing any announcement not forecasted into the current project, okay, whatever they are. So as I was saying, we may have a lot of new features between version 1 and version 2 of the platform, and version 2 and version 3, 2 in January 2021, 3 in December 2021. But for this, we will need time and resources. The time we will have it is there is still 2 years. Resources to be able to code into the platform or add or integrate the right services. And so, therefore, a participation of the AI4EU consortium, in addition to the mentioned budget, we suggest 1 million euro, not for any partner, 1 million euro for the people who will develop the services required and guarantee that they will work. And this is it, okay? And the participation of the AI4EU consortium, member of the AI4EU consortium or the coordination part, is recommended. Otherwise, of course, it will be difficult to make sure that the projects are not working both in parallel. We all know that there is other projects which are declaring to work together and do not find the time because it is not in their program, it's not in their project. They do not have the resources allocated initially for that. So really, this is the means to make sure that it will work well. And this is what is exposed in this slide. AI4EU is a large project, and by the time ICT48 project start, let's say September 2020, the version 2 of the AI4EU platform will already be well started. So of course, if we know from the time where the project will be allocated, somewhere in August, we can expect. If we know what is asked, we will be able to add things, but we will have to work together strongly in a very tight way. And for this, really, it is necessary to forecast the way to do it. So, as you can read, using the AI4EU platform as a backbone for Network of Excellence required additional services. And it is clearly not the goal of the AI4EU platform to support research. So maybe I do not have specific slides for that, but I may, if you wish, give you, after this slide, a few ideas on how to support this. Okay. The required budget and responsibility are the only means for the AI4EU project coordination to be effectively involved in Network of Excellence and CSA. Okay. And of course, enhancing the platform in a consistent way requires the involvement of AI4EU, not AI4EU coordination necessarily, but AI4EU. Okay. So this money means that you have to propose sets of new services to support research. This project, ICT48, is really a project about setting up an excellent European research network in AI, as the European Commission said initially 6 months ago when presenting ICT48, excellent research. How do we do that? How can you do that? For example, if you look at the cycle of research, do we need something into the platform to support research in TRL 1 or 2 or 3 or 4? What we do not want to put into the repository of the platform is prototypes which are not usable by SMEs or by entrepreneurs to make products. So within the platform, we will favor things which work in some way and which are easily usable, directly usable for innovation and for business, because we want to bring non-technical people or ICT people in non-technical business, non-AI business, to use this component to make products which will be, or services which will use AI. So what should we do to support research? Probably we should imagine ways to define some support services at each TRL, or at least it is a way to do it. For example, if you are at TRL 2, maybe you want to publish some algorithm or some way of doing this or that, and you want to allow your colleague, your other university, other people to be able to verify your results so that it is good research. So maybe we should provide services for that. Maybe we should provide, as you were as with the question which was asked, we should provide ways to deal with data, to deal with other kind of resources from the very beginning to the time where it is usable by an SME. Excuse me, I have unfortunately switched. So I was there, I guess. So Interrel 2, Interrel 3, Interrel 4 to support data, to support interoperability with dedicated platform. And if we take the example of edge computing, how do we support edge computing with prototype of edge computing within the platform? It will mean that the promoters of some kind of hardware platform will have to allow people to interact with them, even if they cannot deliver effective elements. So this is where you could be imaginative in adding services. Okay. Now I have a final slide with a simple example on how to deal with contracting the development of services for enhancing the AI4U platform. But it is only an example, okay? Maybe you should set up a specific work package. Maybe you should ask the right partner from the AI4U consortium or whoever to lead this work package. And of course, create a few tasks, one for specification of the platform extension, one for the implementation, then define the services you want to add. It may be the opposite, of course, define the services first and speak about implementation later on. The important things in this is that you must split the budget, and probably one of the important questions is how do you allocate the budget for enhancing the platform as long as the services are not fully described. To be sure that the services you want to add, whether big or small, will fit into the platform, you have to be sure that it will not be disruptive for this existing platform. And it is very difficult until you have detailed specification of what you want to add after having the discussion necessary with the AI4EU, etc., and within the different network of excellence, etc. So, as an example, you may do it differently. You may allocate it to someone who is able to do everything. You may do whatever you wish, but I would personally say that selecting a partner from the beginning to do implementation of things you do not know today, or subcontracting to a partner which will force you, of course, to ask for 3 or 4, not a partner, a provider, to ask for 3 or 4 subcontractors and to compare their offer. But then you will probably be able to do it on the basis of a very well-defined statement on what to realize and how to realize it. And I'm not completely sure that it will be, of course, the problem with subcontracting is that you are asking people to do a commercial business with you, and therefore they take their share for it. But I'm not sure it is more costly than trial and error with partners which are not necessarily exactly the right partner for the job. So this is where I'm stopping this presentation, and of course I am ready to answer any question you may have.
Okay, thank you, Patrick, for the presentation. And yes, we do have a lot of questions here. So I'm now starting from bottom up because the questions are starting from Huma Shah. He asks, would an AI4U consortium partner be willing to lead this synergy work package you talked about?
Well, what can I say? Maybe maybe, maybe not. You have to ask them. What we said initially during Helsinki, we said that we will accept to do that because my own job as coordinator of the AI4U project, my only job is to make sure that this platform will be a success. Okay, so to make sure that this platform will be a success, I will of course be very keen to ensure that whatever extension, whatever work some other project is asking for is in line with our own plan. Because currently we only have a grant agreement which says what we have to do, and there is nothing else than this grant agreement for us. So we have to do what is in it, more or less, even if we may have amendment, we may have things like that, we cannot change a lot of what we said. So I would say that if you ask me, I would accept. Any other member, you have to ask him. Okay, and you will have the full list of members on the AI4U platform next Monday. It is fully published. It has been asked by reporters, etc. And so we said, okay, we'll give clearly the list of the organization member of the AI4U consortium, the 81 organization.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
I think yes. Humasha, he has a second question coming to this. Thank you, Patrick. I would like to invite you to the Coventry University Consortium bidding for the ICT 48 call. So that's, I think the question is answered.
So maybe we can do that. So as I said, I do not want to discuss the content of proposal because really my topic is AI4EU, and we have so much work already with AI4EU that the content of the proposal, I have no position on it. So you all have my email. Maybe I'm not sure I put it on the last slide. Yes, you have my email. Send me an email to say that if you wish, and we can discuss all that. But of course, I prefer. I do not think it would be fair to name people or to name project on a wide call like this one. But of course, no problem.
It's like basically another question similar to this is. There's more the question how the participation of the AI4EU consortium in projects has to be realized. That question comes from Domenico Rotondi. I think it's similar, the question, because he wonders how an AI4EU consortium can be a partner in another project. So
an AI4EU consortium cannot be a partner in another project because there is nothing such as an AI4EU legal partner. We have next year to set up a foundation, and it is in our grant agreement, to have an AI4EU legal partner. But I cannot tell you that it will be done in time, and certainly not in time for proposals. Okay, so at some point in the future there will be an AI4EU legal partner, but today there is only 81 members which together are setting up the AI4EU project.
Yes. Patrick?
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
So
there comes more questions, of course. The question is there an industry sector that is prioritized, maybe depending on the companies involved in the project, like Thales? Are you planning to start with, for example, manufacturing? The question comes from Andreas Alexio. I think the question is basically thinking that you can decide on the. I think you're free to decide what you're doing, right?
Can you say the question again?
Yeah,
Sorry.
the question is there an industry sector that is priority?
Yes. No, what we intend to do into the platform is to address all sectors. The purpose of this platform is really European-wide, all sectors, all technology related to AI, of course. So we will probably start with the priority sectors from the Commission: agriculture, health, industry, robotics, climate, etc. But we are already having discussion with people in sector we weren't forecasting necessarily at the beginning, like insurance, like other sector. I do not want to mention more. So any domain sector of the society which can benefit from AI is welcome.
Okay, thank you. And then another question. It comes from Sergio Rosmeroli. Sorry when I pronounce the name not perfect. One question. Is AI for you basically an ecosystem portal? There is no AI platform like TensorFlow from Europe being developed, correct?
No. It is not that. It is not that. It is not. It is an ecosystem platform for the limited version we are outputting now, the collaborative part, community part. But there will be ways to experiment, and then TensorFlow or some other. It will be two-phase, in fact. There will be components in it which you can download and which SMEs can upload, for example, to push people to try their outcomes. But there will be also elements which are useful to experiment or to build solutions the way you can do with TensorFlow. And this will be the experiment part of the platform.
Okay. Thank you.
And clearly it should probably enhance to favor research and research linked with industrial and innovation, to favor challenges. We intend to push challenges. You do not see them in the menu yet, but we intend to push them, which is request by industry or SMEs or whatever to find a solution to a problem, and or possibilities by research to say, if you need that, we have it, and address it into a challenge, okay, with reward, of course.
Okay, I think this question is answered. Another question from Miai Lupu. Are there plans to integrate our platform with existing platforms? If so, which ones? He is thinking of Data Market Austria or Industrial Data Space or other H2020 projects.
So Industrial Data Space, as an example, is member of the AI4EU consortium, and effectively we want to integrate, to interconnect, to interoperate with them at some point. Interoperability will be started next year after the release of the version 1. In version 1, you will have collaborative, repository, and experiment. You will not have interoperability. We will address it just after, during year 2. And we are effectively, we intend to be interoperable with Industrial Data Space. We intend to be interoperable with one of the DIAS services for Copernicus, which is the services provided by Atos, who is a member of the consortium. It is the Mundi platform. We should interoperate also with the Human Brain Project, with the European Language Grid platform, and various others, which I cannot mention. I was told yesterday about an industrial platform, a French industrial platform. I do not want to mention it more, but where people said, yes, it would be very welcome. And we said, okay, we'll work for that. So one of the goals of the AI for EU project, probably the most difficult, is to try to provide access to various external resources to end users, to SMEs, etc., in a way which is as seamless as possible. We have a sophisticated single sign-on system in front of the platform already today. There is no use for it today because there is only one system, if I may say so, in front of it. But this SSO is there to make sure that when interconnecting with other platforms, we can eventually do it in a very seamless way. So the answer is yes, a lot of plan on that.
Great. Yes. So there is a basic question coming several times again. So maybe was not completely understood yet. The last person asked is Christina Barros. How is it possible to join the platform for our participants and audience outside of the consortium? How?
So the platform will be launched, opened next Monday. It is currently under testing by the consortium member, but we are trying to solve as many small issues and make it as friendly as possible. There is a lot of very minor things which can be enhanced as usual with such a platform. So it will be opened next Monday on the 30th of January. Public availability.
Okay, great. So it's basically you just look in October, no? Just look it up.
Well, basically next Monday, we today have a site which is, if you type worldwideweb.ai4eu.eu, you have a website, a rather not very usable website, which is there since 9 months now. It will be the same address, but this website will disappear and the platform will be there next Monday.
Okay.
Okay, very simply.
Yes, and then from there, it's also many times the question, where do we find the partners of AI for you? It's basically, you find it already now on the website, but soon also on the platform. So
yeah, on the website you have their logo, but on the platform you will have their full name, of course.
Yes, so I think we are coming here. There's one more question for the platform. Which are the most important services you foresee necessary in the AI for EU platform?
Which are the most important services I foresee? Targeting which kind of stakeholder? What we need to do is to address all the kind of user for AI, so that we can win with AI in Europe with respect to the other, and keep our independence, if we can say this, with respect to all the other very big users like US, China, Japan, etc. So we need to be able to fulfill the need of each kind of stakeholder. The researcher, to make them to do more research and to make the research more usable, creating growth, creating job, creating value. The business people who are looking for opportunities, the entrepreneurs who are also the SMEs, the large industry, etc. So when you say what is a good services, the best service, always ask to whom and to do what. And really, this is the right question for all the proposal. What is the purpose? What are you promising? Okay, what are you promising? In AI for EU, we are promising to diminish. This is what we promise really with your KPI, lower the fragmentation of the European landscape, and we are working on it, and propose tools for users to work better with AI and make growth and profit from AI. And in a trustworthy way, okay, in an ethical way. So this is really our message, and I would really like, as AI4EU coordinator, to be sure, and I would be very happy if we can work very well with the selected 4 network of excellence to make a huge, talking about the AI4EU platform, it is a virtual platform. It is an experience for the user. It is like when you access large worldwide platform like Amazon, wherever you are in the world, you find your environment and you have the impression that everything is at your door, okay, independently of delivery. I mean, I'm talking about the platform. And certainly you imagine that there is thousands of servers, and how do they do that? They make it seamless. They make it a good user experience. We want to do that as much as possible with our limited resource and with the help of the network of excellence. This is what we should aim to do all together to ensure that this AI4EU platform becomes more and more the tool, the European tool to AI in all ways and to address all stakeholders.
Yes, thank you. And also, it looks like the questions are basically answered. There came one more, but basically, thank you very much for the useful information from Huma Shah. So this was not a question, and also thank you back to Huma for joining us. And I would like to slowly end our webinar, our cafe session today. And I have one last announcement to say, because there were questions about it and I answered it directly. There were questions, what will our platform offer to SMEs? Will there be also open calls? And yes, there will be, no, Patrick?
Yes, there will be open calls. The first one will be early next year. There is a dedicated page on it on the platform, and a dedicated link with the people who are taking care of the open calls. But we are currently working on the program of the open calls and the challenge we will put in there. And for SMEs, really, I expect that it will be a place for them also to advertise their product. A lot of people go to talk to us and say, how can we diminish the fragmentation and know what exists as component, as solution in AI. So the AI4EU platform should be a transparent way to promote the SMEs good result, good part, good components in AI.